Hey everyone, Boardgame Brody here with Meeple Mountain. I have a copy of Manifest. It's a pick up and deliver game published in 2014 by Schilmil Games. In this game, you will be using cards to pick up goods or people and deliver them to their desired location. The game uses action cards that are used for movement, for money, and or for its special ability listed on that card. Each player has 2 ships on the map, and their player board represents the inside of their ships where they can hold cargo or people. Players start with 3 contract cards in their hands each and 3 contracts that are laid out for anyone to complete. There are different ways to play this game, but I'm going to explain the most advanced version because the game feels better with this advanced version than the basic. The advanced version adds a deck building portion which helps the slow and boring standard version. In this version, players start with 6 starter cards of their color, which are all the same for each player. Players will shuffle those 6 cards and draw 3 to have in their hand. The remaining 30 action cards are placed in a deck with 3 cards placed out, and these cards can be bought for $3 each to then add to that player's deck. Players can also spend $1 to cycle the cards in the display to see something that they more likely would want. Also, when buying a new card, players can spend an extra $1 to retire a card from their hand or from their discard pile, and this will help you thin out your deck if you decide to do so. So with time, your 6 starter cards will grow with other cards that either have a great ability, lots of money, or a high value movement listed on it. Players will be able to use any of their 3 cards during their turn, and then if they have any still left in their hand, they can opt to discard it or keep it in their hand for the next turn. And then that player will draw back up to their hand limit of 3. If and when you run out of cards, you will shuffle your discard pile and it will become your new draw pile. So on your turn, you want to fulfill one of the contracts, either in your hand or the ones on the board. Contracts list the items that they want, goods, immigrants, or both. The destination is listed on the top and is also shown on the map with a red dot. The blue dots on the map show where you can get the wanted cargo from. And when completed, it's worth the points shown on the top left. There is a pile of contracts that is used to replace any completed contracts from the public sector, but also if you want to get more in your hand in the private sector, you will need to pay the listed price shown on the back. Remember, you can have at most 3 contracts in your hand at a time. When picking up cargo, the type of cargo is listed on that spot of the board, and you will pay $1 per token. Your ship can hold a mix of any type of cargo, and you can place any in any hold. It might be smart to pick up extras in case of pirates or for future contracts. Cargo can be taken out of your ship for free when fulfilling a contract, or you can pay $1 to unload any type of cargo at any port. So don't get too carried away getting too much cargo because it might overload your ship. Moving your ship around the board is done by paying cards with their listed movement. You can combine cards for movement points to move 1 or more legs, but you can't split it between your 2 ships. As you move, some paths are marked with red, which are dangerous routes where pirates tend to strike. When you move into these, 2 dice are rolled. If a number is shown, then that cargo in that number hold is removed from your ship. The skull and the crossbones only have an effect if both dice results with them. But this is very bad news because the entire ship will sink, losing all your cargo. The ship is then placed back on your player board, and on your next turn, it can be placed out to any port. The lifesaver device is a safe result, which means nothing happens. Cards can be used to defend pirates using its ability. The last thing to talk about are the special abilities on the cards. All cards manipulate the rules to allow for bonuses like getting a contract for free without paying or using both the movement and the money on a single card. Or maybe you want to cause another player to lose some of their cargo. Maybe you want to draw extra cards and use their abilities immediately, or moving all other players' ships on the board. Players continue with turns until a player scores enough points to end the game, which is different depending on how many players are in the game. The player with the most points at the end of the game wins the game. So this game is a straightforward pick up and deliver game. If you know how that works, it's about getting something in one place and taking it to another place, which can get boring, which you might feel in this game. They tried to mix in some more exciting changes like the abilities on the action cards and the pirates. We enjoyed the majority of the abilities on the cards, but some we just felt like were very mean. You know, you just are picking on someone. And it was as easy as dumping a certain cargo right before they got to their destination. I wish the traveling part was faster. It just feels like most of the game is putting cards out to move. Maybe the cards need higher movement numbers to help with this, or lower numbers on the board. I'm not really sure. Also, it just seems like everyone pretty much progresses similarly. There is not a strategy that speeds this up, as planning only goes so far in this game, which brings up the end of game, as it just feels like the winner is a lucky winner due to the contracts that they got and the order that they got them in. Now, there can be some planning that pushes you ahead, but it's all about the order of the contract cards that you gain. Now, I do like the public contract cards that anyone can fulfill. This is done by anyone, so some might decide to do it, but one and another does it before you, it will set you back. Also, when using the public cards, you don't need to pay the money on the private ones that you pay for to place in your hand. So I like doing that. Ultimately, this is a pretty basic game, which might be good for you introducing your kids to these mechanics. My kids play a lot of games with me, and they tended to enjoy this one and understand how to play it really quick. But for me, it was kind of boring, and it didn't have much to it. It didn't let me use any brain power. It's kind of slow. So deliver cargo with your family and friends in Manifest, a game by Schilmil Games.
Again, this is Boardgame Brody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stick around and check out some other board game reviews to see what you might want to get to the table.